Hi, my name is Robert Owen. I'm a local Dallas real estate agent. I am here today with Lana Hersher, who is also a local Dallas real estate agent. See?
That's right.
Today, we would like to discuss what it is to live in Dallas. Someone that lives in Dallas would know about Dallas.
How about don't move to Dallas until you know these things?
Excellent. Nice point. So, Lana, you're from Dallas. You would consider yourself a Dallasite?
I'm a native Dallasite. I was born in North Dallas, just a little north of the Red River. Some people call that Oklahoma, but I came to Dallas for everything, back to school shopping, the dentist. So I've been coming to Dallas my whole life, and then I moved here when I was 14, very impressionable years, for boarding school, and I've just never left.
Dallas is a great place to be. I think it's an excellent hub to work from, to live from. You can travel. It's really a great place to be. So what I wanted to do today, Lana, was kind of discuss some of the do's and don'ts, the ins and outs, the things that you kind of want to know about living in Dallas. So,
Well, how long have you been here?
Thank you, Lana. You know what? I'm a 40-year resident of Dallas, and I've lived here since 1980.
All your life, then.
It's pretty much all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was born on Greenville Avenue, which is just around the corner, and then I grew up in Lake Highlands, and I ended up going to college in Arlington, which is just about 30 minutes from here. The backdrop that you're looking at right now, this is Lincoln Center, considered far north Dallas. Some people think North Dallas and far north Dallas are the same thing. They're not. Far north Dallas is sandwiched between Richardson and Addison, and that's kind of the panhandle of Dallas.
Yeah. You can almost live in Plano and still have a Dallas address.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Nice point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I wanted to discuss. You've lived here most of your life, and there are some things that you need to know about Dallas, like...
Listen, I have lived in every corner of Dallas at one point or another, staging a lot of different homes, luxury homes for a lot of different realtors before I was a realtor in 2010. So I know almost every neighborhood and all the nuances that go with that neighborhood. Do you want to know my favorites? You tell me your favorites.
Yeah.
What's your favorite?
Tell me about your favorite neighborhoods in Dallas.
Well,
And this is Dallas City, not Dallas County. There's a
call
difference
this-
between Dallas City and Dallas County.
I call this in-town Dallas. That's what I say, because it's inside the perimeter of Dallas, in the part you would want to be in. But I have so many favorite neighborhoods. It's really hard to just narrow it down to one. But I've lived in Bluffview. I've lived in Preston Hollow. I've lived in Highland Park. I've lived in Uptown. I mean, I've lived in North Dallas. I've lived in far North Dallas. So I could really tell you all the little intricacies of each neighborhood, but I have to say my absolute favorite, Preston Hollow all the way.
Preston Hollow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Myself, I have lived in Fort Worth. I've lived in Arlington. I've lived in Uptown, Richardson, Plano, and Lake Dallas. I don't like to say that last one, but
Oh.
yeah, I'm just teasing. Just kidding. So my favorite was probably Uptown.
I do love Uptown. It's so nice to just, zip, zip, zip. And when they have those little Lime bikes that you can just, turn them on and then zip over to your favorite restaurant and then zip right back to your condo, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Uptown has a lot of advantages. There's Uptown is an area that has condos, apartments, duplexes, office buildings, residential towers, apartment complexes, retail centers, nightlife strips, and hotels.
And do you know what I really love about Uptown? It's technically not Uptown. It's more like the Oak Lawn area, but they border each other. So that's the Harwood District and the Victory Park area.
Great point, Lana. What is the difference between Uptown and Oak Lawn?
Well, they kind of, they're like sisters. They're right next to each other. One is a little bit more, shall we say, professional, and one's a little bit more party. It's like business in the front, party in the back, but they're side by side, right?
That's great.
But the Harwood District was actually developed by a guy who spends a lot of time, he's from East Texas, but he spends a lot of time in Switzerland. And that's why they just opened the Hotel Swexen.
I did not know that.
Right?
That's a great point to make. As a 40-year resident of Dallas, I still learn all sorts of good things to know about the place. For example, I was unaware that Uptown was only named Uptown around the year 2000. Before that, it was East Oak Lawn.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's a little confusing to wonder what's the difference between Uptown and Oak Lawn. Well, they're basically the same thing, except that one was renamed because they were trying to attract the yuppie type liver.
Prior to 2000, you could call it a little bit more fringy, just a little fringy, but then it just became the Uptown that we know today.
That's exactly right.
And the best part about about Uptown is the trolley. Have you ever been on the trolley?
I've seen it about 100 times, but I've never ridden it.
The McKinney Avenue trolley starts around West Village and goes all the way downtown to Clyde Warren Park. And you can hop on and hop off, go to restaurants and bars. It's a little bumpy because it's all wood in there. There's no padding, but it's so much fun.
That reminds me of one thing. If you know where City Line is, the large orange, it's kind of a burgundy building.
Mm-hmm.
There were supposed to be two of them. It was going to be the Dallas Twin Towers.
Okay.
But they ran out of money, and they only built one of the towers. But there's actually a tunnel that goes from the west side of 75 to
underneath 75?
It goes underneath 75.
Not been in that tunnel.
No.
Wow.
And did you know there's another underground tunnel that goes from the Bank of America building?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you ever been down there?
I have.
Okay.
I think I went to Chick-fil-A there once out of deep necessity.
And they've got dentist offices down there and all sorts of shopping. And, you really don't even know it exists until you live downtown or uptown.
Work downtown.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's another little tidbit
Yep.
to know about Dallas.
I would say one of the biggest drawbacks about living downtown might be like getting in and out of downtown during the traffic hours, right? So when I was living at the Ritz-Carlton, not to name drop, but it was a short stint, but I did love it. You just didn't plan to leave to go anywhere around 5 o'clock because it was going to take you so long just to get 1 mile outside of downtown. But the plus side is everything is just right there in a scooter walking distance. It's so fun.
And here's a little bit of trivia. What is the delineation mark? What separates downtown from uptown?
That would be Clyde Warren Park, right on Woodall Rogers.
Excellent answer. You get a prize. That's right. And so doing a deep dive, and when Walton Walker, I'm sorry.
Don't get confused.
Walton Walker was a completely different person than Woodall Rogers.
Yes.
Who was Walton Walker?
I don't know.
Let me tell you who Walton Walker
I try not to
was.
go on that highway.
So both Walton Walker and Woodall Rogers are bypasses. Woodall Rogers is a bypass from Highway 75, leads you over to Highway 35. Back in the 50s, all the congestion was on Highway 30 because the only way to get over to Highway I-35 from 75 was I-30. To relieve the congestion on I-30, they created Woodall Rogers, or Spur 366.
Thank goodness.
Now, Walton Walker, on the other hand, was it's another bypass, but that's Loop 12, and it connects I-30 to I-35. So don't get confused between Walton Walker and Woodall Rogers. It's easy to do.
And if you continue to go on west of 35 on Walton Walker, that's where you're going to find, that's why I don't go on that highway. It's very industrial.
Very industrial. And the road over there used to be called Industrial Boulevard. They've recently gentrified it and renamed it Riverside Drive.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Riverside.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
How fancy.
And, we will do another video on the Trinity River project in the future. But today, I just wanted to focus on some of the more desirable areas in North Dallas. And
shall we talk about the park cities?
The park cities. And that's a great lead-in to our next area, which just lies north of Uptown, is
Highland Park.
Highland Park.
And University Park.
And then University Park. And then what's north of University Park?
Preston Hollow.
Yep, our favorite. What's north of Preston Hollow?
635, North Dallas.
Right. It's North Dallas. And then North Dallas is it leads into far North Dallas. Like I mentioned earlier, there is a difference between North Dallas and far North Dallas. And the delineation between North Dallas and far North Dallas is LBJ Freeway or I-635.
They're in far North Dallas. You can literally practically be in Plano with a Dallas address going to Richardson schools. Try that.
Yeah. All right. So, yes, what lies north of Uptown is Highland Park.
Highland Park and University Park. They comprise the Park Cities.
The Park Cities. Excellent point. So, some people are curious, what's the difference between Park Cities, Highland Park, and University Park? Lana?
Well, I would say there's not a lot of difference. We call that the bubble because you don't have to go outside of your bubble when you live there. And you're not affected by everything that's going on in the world as much there because you have your own police and your own fire stations. So it's very safe. Don't speed through there. You will get in trouble. But let's see. The difference, I would say both of them have varying styles of architecture. You might have what did I call that over? Not a Druid house, but next to a farmhouse.
A Tudor?
A Tudor, next to a farmhouse, a modern farmhouse next to a Mediterranean, next to a historical landmark home on Beverly. So you can just have lots of different styles of houses there. The school systems are, second to none there.
Impeccable.
The public school systems in Highland Park and University Park, they have their own. Lots of people move there just for that. And the only drawback I would say is that the parking, there's a lot of street parking, cars on the street. And then, so if you're trying to pull through the middle, you might have to pull to the side while somebody passes you.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yes. And one of a fun thing to do around the holidays, we're nearing the holidays, is to visit more glamorous streets down there like Beverly and Armstrong. And what are some others?
And do you go in a horse-drawn carriage?
Oh, and I do remember the horse-drawn carriages.
You can get a horse-drawn carriage to take you Christmas light viewing. And it starts out in Highland Park Village, which is one of the nicest shopping areas in all of America, right? Built by, you told me.
That's right. So the same architect who created Beverly Hills in California was the same, I guess he was an architect, a designer, street designer, that developed Highland Park in Dallas.
Park Village? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the streets around.
And that's kind of why when you walk through Highland Park Village, you sort of feel like you're in Beverly Hills.
You do. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Let's name one other perk about Highland Park would be, I guess, the Dallas Country Club.
Oh, the Dallas Country Club.
The DCC.
For sure. If you don't have the references to get in the Dallas Country Club, I would highly suggest the Park House. That's another private members-only club. I would call it a little bit more artsy-fartsy, like foodie-oriented, very social. It's like a social club. But the Dallas Country Club is the top of the tops. That's for sure.
There we go. Cruising right along the Dallas North Tollway, affectionately known as the DNT, starts down in Uptown, heads up through Highland Park and through University Park, through our favorite?
Preston Hollow.
Preston Hollow. And then it goes into North Dallas, and right behind us is the DNT, and then it heads up into far North Dallas. What's one of your favorite things about Preston Hollow?
Oh gosh, well, Preston Hollow was a really wide awakening about how much I drove my car. So I've also lived in the suburbs beyond the neighborhoods of Dallas. And my experience was I was coming into Dallas every day, putting 36,000 miles a year on my car. But when I lived in Preston Hollow, it was for like 2 or 3 years. I didn't even put 12,000 miles a year on my car because you're right in the center and it's just so easy. Like I almost call it more of a bubble than the Park Cities. It's so easy to just go to your little spots and not actually have to ever get on the highway.
Interesting. I have an interesting bit of information. Trivia is always good. Trivia is always good. So despite a 1948 U.S. Supreme Court ruling that states courts cannot enforce race-based relations on the occupancy of real estate, a covenant was enacted in 1956 that 17 lots in Preston Hollow were stated that only white residents could live in them.
What? You're kidding! That is insane. Is that still on the books?
In 1980, it was changed.
Okay.
Only domestic servants were permitted in that area.
OMG.
Preston Hollow.
Wow. Okay. Well, I have to say on that note, my favorite area of Preston Hollow is old Preston Hollow, the original Preston Hollow. But it's baffling to me that you can have a $15 million house 2 blocks off of the Tollway. I mean, is that crazy? But the really big stately estates, you know, like on Straight Lane and Deloche, a lot of the really old ones are, you know, just stone's throw from the Tollway.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I kind of jumped ahead of myself. And just north of Highland Park is University Park, the other part of Park Cities.
Yes.
What is your favorite part of University Park?
Well, I would say I do love that little area, Preston on the Parkway. It's like Preston Northwest Highway. That's where a lot of my favorite restaurants are. It's great shopping. It's super convenient.
Yeah, and University Park was named University Park because of our
SMU.
Southern Methodist University. Impeccable school that is located right there on University Drive. It's
It's on University.
University.
Hillcrest and University. Mm-hmm.
Hillcrest, University, and Lovers, I think, are the...
Mm-hmm. And it's very near Snyder Plaza, which is another restaurant shopping district. Love it.
Snyder Plaza, that's another area. If you're just moving to Dallas, that's Snyder Plaza, Highland Park Village.
Highland
Park Village. She's the Park Cities person.
If you're living down in Uptown, you'll go to the Crescent to go shopping. Love that.
The Crescent, another good shopping area.
Yeah.
Good. And then moving north, we've gone through North Dallas.
Don't forget the Katy Trail.
Oh, I almost forgot.
How did we forget the Katy Trail? The Hardwood District starts at the Katy Trail and works its way down to about the Ritz-Carlton. That's where the Hotel Swexen, Happiest Hour, all of that is. Those are all Hardwood District projects.
And the Katy Trail at one time was a railroad, and they ripped out all the rails. And
now it is a walking trail, biking trail for all the CNBC singles.
To be seen. Yes, and it's a nice trail. It is.
Yes.
It is a really nice.
Yeah.
And a really nice place to be. So moving north, we've gone from Uptown to Highland Park to University Park to North Dallas. Now, when you get to the very north of North Dallas, we're not in far North Dallas yet. We're just in North Dallas. We have the Galleria.
Yeah.
The Galleria, which is actually, is it behind us? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's not in the shot. It's
not in the
across
shot,
the street from that shot.
Okay. The Dallas North Galleria, which was built in 1982 at a cost of $400 million. The only other construction project that cost more to build than the Dallas Galleria is Epcot Center at Disney World.
That is crazy. Well, back then, that was a lot of money.
That was a lot of money.
Did you say how much?
It was $400 million, which is $1.2 billion in today's dollars.
Wow.
That's like Jerry's World. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. And now they're doing developments that cost that much everywhere, right?
For anyone who doesn't know what Jerry's World is, Jerry's World is the AT&T Stadium in Arlington.
Should we talk about sports?
You know?
I mean, how many sports there are here? I mean, our favorite World Series champions, the Rangers.
Okay, yes. And this is being filmed in November. This is November 2nd, and your Texas Rangers won the World Series for the first time in 62 years. We're saying 62-year-old franchise, they won their first World Series
last night.
That was exciting, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I was all in.
Yeah.
I was all in. They came in and took it. They took it.
Then we have our Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars. I mean, there's a lot more, but those are the big ones. So you can really literally go to a sporting event almost every night here.
Yeah, I had a hard time choosing what channel to watch last night, actually, because the Dallas Stars were playing, the Dallas Mavericks were playing, and your Texas Rangers were playing.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't a hard choice.
Hey, what about the weather? Should we tell them about the weather?
Let's talk about the weather.
Well, if you don't like it, just wait a minute.
Yeah.
Just wait a minute. It'll change.
That's exactly right.
It can very easily be 75 and sunny, and then the next morning you wake up, it's windy and 35 degrees.
So I felt at one time that we have 7 months of summer, we have 3 months of winter, and 1 month of spring and fall. How would you feel?
That is absolutely correct.
Yeah, it's pretty on point, because I remember in 2000, we had over 100 days of 100-degree weather.
Which is perfect for being this deep in the water in the lake. Right?
Great point, Lana.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly
That's
right.
why we have so many Great Lakes right around Dallas.
Yes, and if you're a realtor, you basically run from the air-conditioned building to the air-conditioned car to the air-conditioned house.
I'm going to have a helpful hint here. Are you ready? Get a car with air-conditioned seats.
Okay, air-conditioned seat.
Air-conditioned seats are key in Dallas.
It is, because nothing's worse than a sweaty seat.
Ew. Ew.
Great point, Lana. So we covered sports.
And the weather.
And the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And, as I mentioned at the beginning of this, I wanted to touch on what I feel are the most desirable areas in North Dallas, which I feel, that's just my opinion, IMHO, Uptown, Highland Park, University Park, North Dallas, and then far North Dallas.
Oh gosh, you're forgetting some of the best. I mean, could I say Preston Hollow?
Excuse me.
But besides Preston Hollow, you've got Devonshire, you've got Greenway Parks, you've got Bluffview. I mean, if you're somebody who travels all the time, do you know how quickly you can get to DFW Airport from Bluffview?
Tell me.
I mean, 20 minutes. So, like, Bluffview has very winding streets, a little bit of hills, no curbs. You kind of almost feel like you're in the country. So, but it is right next door to Love Field, and it's right next door to all the private jet FBOs. So you can hop in your jet and go. You can get to New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, like 2 hours everywhere you go.
I'm gonna have to visit that place. So yes. So moving north, we go to the Galleria. The Galleria, north of the Galleria, is
Addison?
Addison.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Addison at one time had more restaurants per capita than any other city in Texas.
Yes. Addison has its own fire and police as well, and it has its own recreation center that you get to be a member of, I think free of charge if you live in Addison.
If you live in Addison. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Lots of walking and biking trails as well.
Yes. There is a huge cross-section of diversity in Addison, and lots of restaurants. They actually have a Taste of Addison every year. Have you ever been to the Taste of Addison?
I have.
Yeah. Yeah, it's actually, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's crowded.
Mm-hmm.
It's crowded.
It is crowded, yes.
It's crowded.
There's nothing like Addison on the 4th of July. It's called Kaboom Town.
Kaboom Town.
And do not plan to get out of Addison after the fireworks are over any faster than like 45 minutes.
Right. You have to have your own plane to get out of there.
Helicopter.
Helicopter, yes. And Kaboom Town is actually held on the 3rd of July, so that it doesn't trample on your 4th of July.
All right.
Plan.
You can get back to the lake.
That's a good point. Mm-hmm. Bent Tree.
Mm-hmm.
Bent Tree is a terrific area. It was really developed in the 1980s and 90s. Mm-hmm. And so you'll see a lot of 80s type homes, which I'm fond of.
I love them.
Because we grew up in 80s style homes, didn't we?
Yeah, and it's kind of built around a country club called Prestonwood Country Club, which is the only men's only, no women allowed, golf course in Dallas.
Very sexist, I think.
I know, but, I'm sure the men love it. No women in their 18th hole. 19 is the 19th hole, right? But yeah.
Nice. There used to be the Prestonwood Mall, but that was recently torn down, and all sorts of apartments and shopping centers have been created.
Oh, the Prestonwood Mall. When I was at boarding school, on Wednesdays, the driver would take us to Prestonwood Mall so we could go shopping, drop us off, and pick us up.
Yeah, and they had an ice rink in there too, didn't they?
They did. Mm-hmm.
They had an ice skating rink there. Now, if anybody wants to go ice skating, I think the only place you can go now is
the Galleria.
The Galleria.
No, the Dallas Stars has
That's right.
something in Addison, but the Galleria is the most often skated arena.
Right. There used to be the Plaza of Americas, which is downtown. You could go ice skating there. You can't do that anymore.
No?
Either. No.
Oh.
I don't think they have the ice skating rink.
Oh, wow. I didn't know.
Let me get back to you on that. Yes, the Galleria is the only place where you can go ice skating. Prestonwood Mall was torn down about 2005. Was that when
I would say, yeah, probably around then.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then Valley View
was also torn down.
That was my mall as a kid.
That was my kids' mall because it was the only mall where you could go on your little Heelys and the security wouldn't stop you. They could just Heely all over the mall. with me running behind.
Heelys. Those were the
shoes with the wheel
with
in
the
the middle.
wheel in them.
Uh-huh.
You could.
You just heely around, all through Valley View Mall.
I mean, that's so obvious. Why didn't we have those when we were kids?
I know, right?
No, we had like
Bikes.
skateboarders.
I never skate.
I didn't either.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And Valley View has recently been torn down. It's going to be gentrified. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to.
It's a very big mixed-use development. It will have apartments, condos, restaurants, parks, all the things. It's really going to help that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. And now we're still in North Dallas. Now the DNT will run along the west side of all of these places that we're talking about, and on the east side will be 75 and Preston, which is 289.
Mm-hmm. You can actually take 289 Preston Road all the way to Lake Texoma.
You can take Preston Road all the way to
Lake Texoma.
Mm-hmm.
Before the Dallas North Tollway, the DNT, was extended all the way up through to Prosper. I used to go home that way from Hockaday, all the way on Preston Road, all the way up to Lake Texoma, and then cut over and go back up into Oklahoma.
Back into Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because sometimes, the traffic on Fridays on 75 could be a little hairy back there in the 80s.
So do you think North Dallas is going to extend into Oklahoma one day?
All the way. All the way. Like, as someone who's gone up and down 75 their whole life, the little blank spaces, between Van Alstyne and Melissa, or Sherman and Van Alstyne, like, those are just disappearing.
Real estate tip: buy land north of Frisco.
Yes.
North of Salina.
The real estate tip really is buy land anywhere between the Red River, or maybe a little north of there, all the way to Houston. Anywhere in that area, there are more people migrating to that area than are, that are in whole countries in most of the world. So
yeah, I read a statistic that there was over 1,000 people moving to North Texas every month, and I think it's probably more than that.
Yeah, I think it is now. Should we just hit on the cost of living real quick?
Yeah, let's talk about the cost of living.
So I like to shop, so I want to know how much available money am I going to have after I make my money, right? Well, let me just look at my note real quick here. Okay, so the cost of living here is 2% lower than the national average. That's nice.
Good to know.
Right? You're going to have a little bit extra spending money. Because you can travel out of here really easy, so we're going to use that on travel. And the median home prices are 20% lower than the national average. So between the cost of living and the median home price being lower, your, what do you call that, style of living, or for lack of a better word, is...
Your lifestyle.
Your lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Usually upgraded here compared to living in other places.
That's right. And that's why we love Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would consider myself a Dallasite.
I can't imagine living anywhere else.
I'm very proud of my town.
Yeah.
I really am, and I'm proud to be a part of this metropolitan area. If this is your first time to our channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in North Texas, subscribe to our channel, tap for notifications, and we'll let you know everything there is to know about living in this great city.
If you want to know the secret inside tips to getting around Dallas, let's say you're moving here and you're going to be working downtown. What are the best neighborhoods for you to live in so you can make it easy for you to get back and forth? We're your people.
That's exactly right. And there's just some things that you need to know. Just little secrets like, do you want to buy a house in Seagoville?
Oh, sorry. Whoopsie. Love Seagoville. But or how about even this? How about your friends and family live on M Streets, but you're buying a house in Bluffview? Well, guess what? You're not going to be spending a lot of happy hours and dinners together, because the time that it takes after work to get from Bluffview to the east side of Dallas, which is M Streets, Lakewood, that is a very zigzaggy, difficult way to traverse. So if your friends and family live in a certain area, then it's a little easier for us to help you find an area that will work for you and easier to get to them.
Yeah, a lot of people in the Park Cities area consider Loop 12 their boundary. That's the bubble.
That's the breaking point. They get a nosebleed if they go north.
That's the bubble
of Northwest Highway.
And you're actually out in the sticks if you go past Loop 12.
There was a day when that was for real.
I think
real.
They still think that.
This was the country right there.
Yeah.
Dirt road, actually.
Yeah, we're currently in Lincoln Center, and Lincoln Center was featured in the Dallas series. If anyone was fond of the Dallas series, did you ever watch Dallas?
Yes, I had a crush on JR.
Oh, of course.
I did.
JR? I thought it would have been Bobby.
Bobby too. I'm like equal opportunity.
Okay, if anyone doesn't know the story about the Ewings, they were a fabulously rich oil tycoons that lived here in Dallas, and it was Jock Ewing that was the wildcatter. He found all the oil, and he cut his partner, Digger Barnes, out of the deal, and his son Bobby married Pam Barnes.
Wow, you really remember all this. Oh my God.
Yeah, Victoria Principal was so pretty. I just thought she was so hot.
And how about a secret little tidbit here? You might not know this. South Fork Ranch, which is where where they lived and where a lot of the filming was done. It was really filmed at a house in Sunnyvale, right off of Lake Ray Hubbard.
I did not know that.
Which was owned by the Harwood family. Isn't that crazy?
Look at you. All right, that is some great information. Another piece of trivia is that the very first 5 episodes were actually filmed in Frisco and not at the house in Parker, which is
South Fork.
South Fork.
South Fork Ranch.
That's exactly. How could you forget South Fork Ranch? Yeah, I was a big fan of Dallas. I watched it every week until it completely jumped the shark, and they killed off Bobby, and then he came back the next season, and it was all a dream of Pam's. Not a good plot. Not a good storyline.
You know what I just realized? We forgot to talk about the social life
Of course.
in Dallas. I mean, if you move here from Manhattan or Beverly Hills, you're probably wondering, like, what's my social life going to be like? I mean, it's not just the Dallas Country Club and, Park House, right?
Or the Dallas nightlife.
Right.
Could be.
The social season sort of starts in early September and goes through like April, May, Kentucky Derby-ish time.
Okay.
But the philanthropy in Dallas is amazing. And there are more balls and galas and associations that you can donate your time to and feel really good about it and still have all the social life you could possibly handle.
I like the Margarita Ball.
Yeah, the Margarita Ball.
Yes.
Cattle Barons Ball, Crystal Charity Ball. I mean, it just keeps going.
The Cattle Barons Ball. That was in Dallas. I've never been to the Cattle Barons Ball, but...
Cattle Barons Ball is fun. Sometimes they have it at South Fork. Sometimes they have it other places, but...
Very good to know.
It usually rains, which is a real drag when you're outside.
But just stick around for a few minutes and the weather will
change.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good. Well, Lana...
Do we have a slogan about Dallas?
Let's see.
Oh, I know what it is. Dallas, it's like the biggest small town you could ever live in.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Yeah, no, and people are extremely friendly here. People say that, big city don't have friendly people. I don't feel that way at all in Dallas. I don't feel that way. So whether you're moving in 2 days or 2 months, give us a call, send us a text, or write us an email. We'll help you make that smooth move to Dallas.
And give you the inside track so it's easy like a Sunday morning.